Hello and welcome to A Tale of War, otherwise known as Wartales. We have Elira, our swordwoman, Sin, our archer, Gerald, our rogue, Shadow, our pony, and Selena, our axeman. Day 1 starts with the combat tutorial. I move Gerald down and hopes to kill him with a backstab. Sin moves into position and takes aim. Okay, things for this campaign bode well as Selena kills the last remaining enemy. I chose to make Selena our tank, so she's now a sentinel. Comes equipped with Ovation, which gives our allies an attack of opportunity if they're hit by the engaged enemy. We find a homeless man in the marketplace, come back to him soon. We buy a tavern for a single gold. This will give us plenty of money on food for our misdeeds. This place is a dump, so we begin cleaning it up. Remember that homeless man? Let's go hunt and extort him. We are rewarded for our service and Gerald picks up the glorious trait. On day 2 we start making our way to our first contracts. On our way though, we are interrupted by 2 well-armed folks and we'll leave them be for now. We take a pit stop to mine some ore and we discover someone in the mines. He says that the salt mine belonged to some noble lady, but we persuade him to mine the iron ore. Once we're done mining the iron, we talk to the foreman again and he gives back the influence we spent on persuading him. As we discover another point of interest, we gain enough knowledge experience to pick up career plans. This allows us to spend influence to freely choose our attribute points. We spend a bit of influence to pop willpower up to 12 on Selena. I get a bit distracted by a hunt, but before I get too far we need to rest for the first time. I also craft a few lockpicks and fish hooks. Each time you craft something new, you gain a boost to knowledge experience. We immediately spend that knowledge point on run, which allows us to run. As day breaks, we continue our hunt. The fight is quite simple. We move in Elira, take a swing, move in Gerald, stab, after which we gain galvanize and we now do 50% more damage. The pop doesn't go down easy, bites back for 15 damage, but we quickly end it with this round, dealing extra damage. Unfortunately, the bite from the wolf has left Elira with an injury. Gerald levels up and we pick Dex as we don't really have the influence to spare for willpower. We also give him Valorous support, which gives us temporary Valor points when ending our turn next to an ally. On day 3 we finally clear the old lighthouse. After clearing the lighthouse, Selena gains the tough trait and we pick up an outlaw's tabard. Before we pick the locks in the crates in the tower, I make use of profession swapping. I return to camp, craft up a cookpot, which pushes Sin up to an apprentice tinkerer, thus saving that level. While in Sin's character sheet, I give him 2 points of willpower and valorous victory. I now swap from tinkerer back to thief, and the 6 XP I gained in apprentice tinkerer is lost. We gain a nice heavy helmet for Selena, a medallion which boosts willpower by 1, and a knowledge point book. We of course give this new helmet to Selena right away. We pick the second lock and gain a lot of food. We also put the medallion on Selena. She now only needs 2 more to survive the first time she would die. We buy and place a few torches and tables. We spend a knowledge point on rationing, reducing our food needs by 3, and smooth talk, reducing influence cost. We want to save fast training, which would give our new recruits an additional attribute point on recruitment. We go on another hunt for leather and food, which leads us to the snowy mountains. While we're there, we'll pick snowflowers for crafting medicine. We find a few refugees being assaulted by our prey, so we join their side, gaining a few of their numbers for our hunt. With their help, the hunt goes smoothly. While finding a place to rest near the Altus Tower, I get caught by the brigands we were supposed to hunt. I go into the fight with the fatigued state, which reduces our stats by 30%. We are dealt a nice hand though, as 2 of our foes are using weapons easily countered, archer and a 2-handed hammer, which takes a turn to set up before it swings, dealing damage. Here's an example of the idiot swinging wildly at nothing. Whenever these guys sit up, they engage, meaning you can backstab them and gain additional damage, as you can see there. We pick up a decent armor here, the Deserter's Brigandine. Illyra becomes our fighter, and we also boost her willpower up to 12. We make and give a torch to Gerald for his offhand. This will give a plus 3% crit hit and also the ability to do a torch strike a few times for extra damage. We then use the knowledge points gained to unlock fast training mentioned earlier. On our way to our next contract, we find a few wolves we can ambush and hunt. We start off our attack with Sen, who finds an axe and throws it at the closest wolf. Follows up by a shot through the face. We need to move Gerald, otherwise he'll be tied down by himself by a wolf on the far left. Illyra moves up and swings at the two nearby wolves. We continue utilizing the battlefield and the turn order to our advantage and kill the wolf going next while dealing damage to another one. The rest of the fight is easily wrapped up. We are rewarded with some wolf meat and other animal ingredients. Shadow will be our first work pony, and therefore we don't really care about his attribute points. As we enter the abandoned tower, we are greeted by a man shackled to a piton. We leave him be for now and gather the nearby hemp to craft a rope and a piton. We finally find the desperate refugees our contract demands us to deal with, and we do just that. I move Sen into the nearby mud to avoid the hoodlum being able to attack us. Gerald will backstab Barand and afterwards use Wrath, which galvanizes us. The rest of the fight becomes much easier. As the round ends, the lightning strikes and kills the last enemy. For our troubles, we're giving a jacket which has movement on it. We put it on Selena for now, as it's a slight upgrade. Selena levels up to level 3 and we give her the last 2 points into willpower and Valorous Duel. We hit 15 happiness. This has 2 effects. 1, excess happiness will now be converted into influence after resting, and 2, we will now gain a 15% experience boost. Every now and then your companions will want to have a little chat. There's 3 choices and the events can either be good or bad. I choose the option that reduces the opinions of the others of Illyra, as it is the least of 3 evils. On our way back, we discover the guard post and the sinister cave, netting us a decent chunk of knowledge experience. As we return to town, we turn in our bounties and visit the blacksmith to craft some better gear for our folk, which by extension gives us more knowledge experience. We save the purging of any nearby rat nests for once we're able to gain bonuses and extra items. In the tavern we find our captain for the troop, Roger de Fleur, or Rutger Bloom as we'll call him. Once able, we'll appoint him as our captain. For his levels, we will focus on willpower up until 15. Rutger becomes our new blacksmith, who will forge our troops armor and weapons. He starts off crafting a new shield for Selena and some rags. Hitting all the plates at the right time slightly boosts stats gained from the crafted item. This will come in handy later. Rutger becomes an apprentice, getting him extra stats and also allowing him to craft better gear in the future for better recipes. We spend those newly gained knowledge points on those exact recipes. We won't craft the offhand weapons as we are running low on materials. We equip our companions with Rutger's efforts and resume our journey in Tiltren. Just before we run out of stamina on day 7, we engage one of the squads we picked up a contract for at the inn. We are now introduced to leader bonuses. There are a few archetypes of leaders, each giving their allies additional bonuses. We have Gerald go apply a surround and backstab the enemy that's engaged with Selena. We move Gerald back into a surround position on the enemy leader as Rutger is able to kill the enemy using coup de grace. We tear off the dead leader's helmet and pop it straight onto Selena. Gerald also levels up to level 3. This allows us to choose the strategist class, perhaps not the strongest, but the ability to throw a smoke bomb that disengages us from unpleasant enemies is a welcomed addition. To no one's surprise, the points will be spent on willpower. After a fight, we rest up and Selena wants to have a chat. Despite the option to gain 1/10 of a level, I choose to encourage Selena to deepen our relations. Just before day 8, I ambush some boars for some leather and experience. Sin also levels up and we make him our infantryman. He can now set up a barrage, which functions like an overwatch in XCOM. We also put a few points in willpower. On our way down the mountain, Gerald wants to have a chat. I pick the experience option. As day 9 breaks, we approach another squad that we are contracted to kill. Sen picks up the giant trait, which increases strength and dex by 5%. We also add a similar helmet to our inventory. Illyria levels up and we pick Valorous Chain. This gives a temporary valor point if we hit 2 or more enemies. We also pop 2 points of willpower. We can finally appoint our captain, and after a chat with our soon-to-be captain, Rutger, we do just that. We start day 10 by revisiting the Mount Alta salt mine and mine a lot of iron. Afterwards, we move towards the mill to recruit Haggard, our new cutthroat, for free by giving him some medicine. We level Haggard up and select the cutthroat class as mentioned. After equipping Haggard with some basic gear, we complete another contract. Haggard's debut kill will be none other than the enemy leader. We pick up another heavy armor similar to the one on Selena and put the weaker one on Illyria. Rutger also levels up and we choose the Berserker class and give him more movement. As for knowledge points, we pick Apprentice Blacksmith 2 for new weapons to craft, and Restoration as that will help restoring our armor. We finally reach a level in our paths. These are permanent effects that can be quite strong. There's 12 tiers and we pick up just a scratch. It seems Rutger wants to have a chat. This time we get lucky and we pick up a free aptitude point. We spend 40 influence and Rutger now has 15 willpower. My goal alongside completing contracts will now be focusing on working on the Tiltren County scenario. On day 11 we pop into a fishery and get the angler profession. We visit the wealthy farm which has a quest related to the Tiltren scenario. This lady here wants us to warn her husband's friends because her husband was caught stealing some grain. We go along the lake and find a bandit camp. We do as we asked and warn her of the farmer's fate. Isabeth wants us to meet them at the farm, but before that, let's steal everything.
The refugee immediately.
But you brought bandits, mercenaries. Are you willing to let them slaughter us to save a thief?
It's clear to tell that we have to pick sides. I choose to side with Elizabeth for better loot chances and the bar of soap. Sen, Illyra and Gerald will focus on these 4 guys here, while the rest of our companions are further away. Sen's barrage will shoot the first 3 enemies that move into it and deal a bit of damage. We have Haggard, our cutthroat, approach Chief Odie from behind. This will guarantee that we kill as we have a lot of attack. With the Chief dead, the enemies now have decreased movement. On the other side of the battlefield, we clean things up with Haggard getting a double kill. With some assistance from an allied archer, we clean up the southern side. We gain a nice upgrade for Sen and some materials for crafting. We craft up the strategy table and a tent, the former giving us additional benefits in battle. We select flanking, increasing our damage modifier of surround by an additional 20%. We also pick up endurance training to run faster on the world map. Let's hear what Haggard has to say then. I'm finally starting to get the hang of being a thief. If I ever leave this troop or group, I'll know how to make a living. As I wasn't super close to a level in Thief, I picked the Relation and Influence boost for more sociability on Haggard. On the morning on day 12, we revisit the farm to chat with Elizabeth.
Recruiting refugees seemed like a good idea at the time, but being desperate does not make them good thieves.
Indeed it doesn't. After questioning Elizabeth's standards for thieves, we are given the promised reward, the bar of soap. Let's not drop it, shall we? Upon returning to town, we sign on for more contracts and we recruit a new face, Kathy, who will become our vanguard. After equipping Kathy with the best we got, we head on out on another hunt and find a pack of wolves and a singular sounder. Shadow officially becomes our workhorse. After a rest on day 13, Illyra wants to talk. I pick up Vigilant, which reduces the aggression range of enemy groups. Our first task on the agenda is picking up a new horse as we are approaching the carrying capacity. We find a pony who is well suited for our second work pony and adopt him. We are also rewarded with some horseshoes. We make a path through the trees and liberate the Petra mountain mine from a few bandits that had been occupying the place. After clearing the mine, we get to mining. Click anywhere. We are 23 iron ore richer and Selena becomes an apprentice miner. As we approach day 15, Haggard has something he wants to say after a rest. I choose the lesser of 3 evils and decrease my happiness temporarily. Our next contract, we discover that we'll be aided by some wolves. This makes the fight even easier. We are able to gain a level in power and glory and we choose champion craftsman, lessening the price of crafted weapons. For our next contract, we are helped by a few refugees, so it's even easier again. We pick up a nice one-handed mace, which we'll keep in case we get a companion using them. Gerald has some parting words. Let's hear them out then, shall we? Another disgusting meal. It is too much to ask for cooked food. Hello? Requires apples. We do have apples, luckily. An apple a day keeps Gerald at bay. This marks the end of the first 14 days. Next time out, expect the first month to be completed.